Have you ever wondered how to nurture yourself in old age and truly care for your emotional and physical well-being? As we age, we're often told to live passionately, but what if the secret to longevity lies in something simpler? Something a bit more indifferent. In today's video, we'll explore how maintaining the right balance of detachment can enrich your life, help you navigate emergencies with calm, and foster healthier relationships. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to embrace serenity, avoid unnecessary stress, and nourish your spirit in a way that allows you to live your golden years with peace and joy. Stick around until the end for practical advice on managing finances, relationships, and more, all to help you take the best care of yourself. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video, you can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. People often advise us to live with passion and to give our all in everything we do. However, I encourage you to approach life with a bit more detachment. The enthusiasm that drives us has its limits, and if we pour all our energy into others without replenishing ourselves, we will eventually find ourselves lonely and drained. Think of the sun, which shines brightly and relentlessly, but even it sets. You cannot continuously radiate boundless energy without taking time to replenish your inner reserves. As you grow older, learning to cultivate a healthy degree of indifference, an ability to step back and preserve your energy, is one of the most effective ways to nourish your spirit and take the best possible care of yourself. When facing emergencies or unexpected situations, it is crucial to remain calm. Many older people develop the habit of rushing, speaking hastily, and acting impulsively. This can be harmful, as even small mistakes, such as losing your balance and falling, can lead to serious consequences. Emergencies are inevitable. They come in many forms, whether it's your spouse fainting unexpectedly or witnessing an accident around you. However, most of these situations are not as dire as they may first appear. If you can take just a moment to pause and breathe, perhaps even just a few seconds, you can avoid impulsive reactions and better assess the situation. This allows you to resolve problems more effectively. There is a story of an elderly woman in Hanoi who, while taking out the trash, accidentally locked her young grandchild inside her house. In her panic, she hurried to find a spare key, but in her haste, she broke the key in the lock. Fortunately, the police arrived just in time to assist in opening the door. This situation could have been avoided if she had taken a moment to collect herself. The saying, "in danger, there is opportunity," does not always hold. Sometimes, the more rushed and frantic you are, the more likely you are to make things worse. By staying calm, you give yourself the space to think clearly and make better decisions. Even when confronted with a scam, being composed gives you the time to recognize the deceit and protect yourself. In moments of calm, your mind stabilizes, which in turn nourishes your spirit. As you age, you will inevitably encounter people from your past, old acquaintances, some of whom may not have your best interests at heart. These individuals might have wronged you or manipulated you at some point. At this stage in life, it's essential to learn to remain indifferent to them. Don't allow these toxic people to disturb your peace. By cultivating indifference, you create a healthy distance between yourself and their negative energy. When you no longer feel the need to engage with or react to their behavior, you free yourself from unnecessary trouble and emotional strain. This shift in perspective can lead to an improved mood and a more joyful outlook on life, allowing a natural smile to emerge. In this way, you preserve not only your peace of mind but also your inner beauty. When it comes to relationships, consider being a little more reserved. There is wisdom in the notion of relinquishing the pursuit of superficial connections and focusing on a small circle of 3 to 5 close friends. As the saying goes, 1,000 friends, but it is hard to find even one true friend. It is rare to find a true friend in a crowd, and in fact, trying to maintain numerous friendships can be exhausting and draining. Only by focusing on meaningful, private connections can you identify the relationships that truly matter. Enthusiasm is an instinct we all have, but it requires moderation, especially in large social settings. If you extend your warmth and energy to everyone, you risk becoming overwhelmed by the emotional demands of others and may even be taken advantage of. In your later years, being overly friendly with the opposite sex might cause discomfort for your spouse. Additionally, Attending frequent social gatherings can become not only a hassle but also a detriment to your health. Many reunions revolve around boasting and one-upmanship, which can leave you feeling uncomfortable or disillusioned. Attending unfamiliar seminars or events, where you're more likely to be scammed, can also lead to negative outcomes. By reducing the number of social obligations you take on, you can create more space for quiet, meaningful moments. This time will allow you to focus on nurturing the relationships that are truly important to you, enriching your emotional life in the process. When it comes to raising children, the most loving thing you can do as you grow older is to observe with detachment. As your children mature and start their own lives, learning not to interfere becomes crucial. This approach is particularly important when your children are married. While elderly parents often tend to look after their grandchildren, they may also see conflicts within their children's small families or spot the mistakes made by their children-in-law. It's common for grandparents to criticize what they find unsatisfactory, hoping their children will make changes. However, this often has the opposite effect, causing tension rather than bringing about change. Even though older individuals might possess vast experience, they can't impose their opinions on their grown children. Such actions can easily become perceived as lecturing, which leads to resentment and misunderstanding. The famous writer Nam Hao-I once wisely said, "Education is just the transfer of knowledge. It is the root of chaos and suffering." It's only when various fields such as science, technology, philosophy, religion, art, and education all contribute to shaping a balanced personality that hope can be found. Many of life's challenges and frustrations can only be resolved when children encounter them themselves and develop their methods for overcoming them. As parents, it's important to watch your children's progress, even when they stumble. However, don't rush to intervene. While observing with detachment may seem cold or unfeeling, in truth, it offers them the freedom to live independently, which ultimately strengthens the bond between the two generations. By maintaining a certain distance, the family dynamic becomes more harmonious, and this careful balance is the true way to nurture a family. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. In a similar vein, the concept of cold indifference is an important part of self-care. There is a saying in Chinese philosophy that goes, "The simpler and more indifferent it is, the more enjoyable it becomes." Self-nurturing is not about spending frivolously, wearing extravagant clothes, or indulging in excessive consumption. It's about caring for your emotions, maintaining your physical well-being, and keeping your family in mind. A peaceful, calm daily life is more valuable than a life filled with opulence and excess. A bit of distance from the chaos of the world, both external and internal, allows you to let go of the noise around you and enter a space of serenity and transcendence. This approach helps maintain mental clarity and emotional balance, bringing a sense of inner peace that outshines the fleeting pleasures of material wealth. As you grow older, social interactions require more thoughtfulness. When you go out, it's important not to answer questions hastily or without careful consideration. Instead, take the opportunity to invite a few neighbors for a walk, share a meal with friends, or visit family members. The lives of older individuals are often collective. They rarely find themselves sitting face to face with their spouse for long periods without the conversation becoming repetitive. Asking and answering questions is a common way to interact, but sometimes these exchanges can inadvertently hide underlying tensions or unpredictable outcomes. There are some questions older individuals should think twice before answering, especially when it comes to sensitive topics like money. A thoughtless comment can offend someone, as the saying goes. It's essential to avoid discussing financial matters casually, especially when it comes to pensions. Not everyone is in the same position financially, and you should never assume that all retirees have high pensions and are living without worries. In reality, many people struggle with small pensions or have yet to retire at all. Speaking openly about the size of your pension, whether it's large or small, can easily cause discomfort or resentment. For example, if you mention that you have 10 million in your pension, others may interpret it as boasting or feel belittled by the comparison. On the other hand, if you only mention having 1 million, others might start bragging about their pensions, which could make you feel embarrassed. Such conversations can lead to unnecessary social divisions based on financial status, which often reflects past career positions and the corresponding pension amounts. The most tactless move would be to discuss your income or pension in front of someone who has not been able to retire or who struggles to make ends meet. On social media, A question about the challenges of having a small pension was met with a succinct answer. The quality of life in old age is not high unless the children are capable and willing to provide continuous support. One personal example involves my aunt, who was strong and outspoken when she lived in the countryside. She often scolded her daughter-in-law back in the village. But now, as all her children have moved to the city, she finds herself growing old and living with them. In her new environment, my daughter-in-law frequently remarks, "Look at the family next door. Their pension is enough to live on, and they even help their family." I simply remain silent, avoiding conversations about money, as this topic is deeply painful for me. It's a subject that makes everyone uneasy, especially when it comes to their financial situation or that of their children. It's best not to discuss financial matters openly with others. If you're asked, it's enough to offer a brief response, such as, "The pension is enough for living," and leave it at that. As for your children's income, it's their business and not a topic for casual conversation. When it comes to saving money, it's usually just a modest sum, nothing worth boasting about or comparing with others. When others boast about their achievements or possessions, it's important not to feel inferior or compare yourself to them. Simply smile and let it go. The wealth or success of others should never define your worth, and in the grand scheme of things, how much money someone else has doesn't concern you. So why should you let it affect you? Let go of envy and maintain your peace of mind by not allowing these outward expressions of pride to stir feelings of inadequacy within you. When your children are seeking a life partner, it's natural to have your thoughts and expectations. However, it's essential not to judge too hastily. Be mindful of the feelings of others and refrain from expressing opinions that could hurt anyone, especially your children. The moment your child finds a partner, it should be a moment of celebration. Yet, many parents feel anxious and uncertain about this new relationship. The most common worries include the fear that the relationship will change their child or that the partner may not be good enough in some way. Parents may also worry about the cost of the wedding or dowry. These concerns are completely understandable, but often they are expressed through complaints to family or friends, or by seeking advice on the matter. When someone asks you about the suitability of your child's partner, it's important not to rush to provide an answer. After all, you may not truly know the person, and love between young people can often evolve in ways that are hard to understand. Traditional customs remind us that marriage is a personal matter, and no one should interfere. As a result, it is often said that it's fine, not bad, good enough. But the person asking may not be satisfied with this answer. They may be seeking confirmation or even approval, and if they truly wanted praise, they would likely have already accepted the relationship themselves. So, the question arises, should you speak positively or negatively about the relationship? The best course of action is to refrain from getting involved in such personal matters. It's clear that interfering with young people's romantic choices is selfish and can lead to unnecessary complications. There's a saying, never decide for someone else. Marriage is too significant to be taken lightly, and the final decision should always rest with those directly involved in the relationship. Parents should provide answers that are genuine yet respectful of their child's autonomy. Let them decide for themselves. Don't worry about it, and think about the future. While this may seem like an answer with no clear direction, it offers comfort and helps to defuse the situation respectfully. There's another phrase to consider here, overstepping. When you make judgments or decisions about others' lives, whether you approve or disapprove, you are essentially making choices for them, and you will need to take responsibility for the outcome. It's best to steer clear of situations where you are expected to make decisions for others, especially in such personal matters. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. When asked to assist with heavy tasks, be cautious and avoid agreeing without fully understanding the scope of the job. Don't push yourself beyond your limits. For example, my neighbor, Mr. Hung, who retired from teaching, became very active in helping others in the neighborhood. He often assisted the elderly with carrying groceries, moving heavy items, taking out the trash, or running errands. However, one day, when Mr. Hung agreed to help his friend, Mr. Luong, move some furniture, he encountered a much more difficult situation than anticipated. The items were far too heavy. There was a large refrigerator and 2 washing machines to move. At that point, Mr. Hung realized that he couldn't handle the task, and he had to politely refuse. This left Mr. Luong disappointed. Despite being in good health, Mr. Hung is 63 years old, and his physical strength is no longer what it was in his younger years. When someone asks for help, make sure to clarify exactly what the task involves, where the items need to be moved from, where they need to be moved to, and when the task needs to be done. Especially when heavy lifting is involved, knowing your limits is crucial. Pushing yourself too hard could result in injury, which could lead to long-term health problems. A warm heart is a wonderful quality, but it's important to apply a little coldness in knowing when to refuse a request you cannot fulfill. By doing so, you can avoid unnecessary complications for everyone involved. In addition to these considerations, be mindful of other sensitive topics such as discussing divorce in old age, babysitting grandchildren, financial investments, or the decision to buy a home. Giving thoughtless responses to these topics can cause misunderstandings or leave a negative impression, particularly when discussing the elderly. The writer Wang Guoquan once wisely said, "Often, the best answer is no answer at all. Time will turn mockery into a dull joke and teasing into a farce." This advice serves as a reminder that it's often best to avoid rushing into a response simply to show enthusiasm or eagerness. Instead, take a moment to listen carefully, think, and choose your words carefully. If you still can't find a suitable answer, it's okay to smile, let the topic go, or shift the conversation to something else. Remember that not all elderly people are generous, and not all families experience happiness. Therefore, it's important not to impose your standards or assumptions on others. Casual conversations are fine, but when it comes to more sensitive subjects, exercise caution and thoughtfulness in your words. Thank you so much for watching. What have you learned so far about nurturing yourself in your later years? Take a moment to reflect on one thing that stood out to you and that you'll bring into practice in your own life. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share in the comments below. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more inspiring content. Until next time, take care of yourself and embrace the calmness that comes with life's later chapters.